I'll read an excerpt of this Jet article, which is headlined Lady Wrestlers, Girls Aim for $50,000 Income. And here's the excerpt. While most women spend hours on end perfecting glamour in an effort to land a husband or a good paying white collar job, there is today a new core of women who, forsaking glamour, devote their entire time to building muscles and brawn in order to compete in the age old sport of wrestling. Hello, and welcome to another edition of Lady Wrestler, the story behind the story. This podcast gives you an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at the documentary Lady Wrestler, the amazing untold story of African-American women in the ring, which is now streaming on Amazon Prime Video. The documentary chronicles the accomplishments of Black women who broke racial and gender boundaries in the male-dominated wrestling business in the mid-20th century. I'm Chris Bournet, and I directed the documentary. You know, I began the journey of making this documentary in 2005, 16 years ago. I did a lot of research over the years, and just when I think I know pretty much everything there is to know about the story of these trailblazing women, some new piece of their history emerges. And that's exactly what has happened. I have to credit Anthony Albert for sending me an article about these history-making African-American women that was published in Jet magazine on February 21st, 1952. Anyone who is familiar with Black history knows that Jet magazine, the sister publication to Ebony magazine that was founded by legendary African-American entrepreneur John H. Johnson, was a staple in Black homes for decades. Jet was where African-Americans could go to read positive stories about the accomplishments of other African-Americans who were ignored by the mainstream media. I'll read an excerpt of this Jet article, which is headlined Lady Wrestlers, Girls Aim for $50,000 Income. And here's the excerpt. While most women spend hours on end perfecting glamour in an effort to land a husband or a good paying white collar job, there is today a new core of women who, forsaking glamour, devote their entire time to building muscles and brawn in order to compete in the age old sport of wrestling. Theirs is admittedly a rugged calling, one which sometimes results in bruises and broken bones, yet they love it for, number one, thrills, and number two, the income. For although Negro lady wrestlers are relatively new to sportsdom, they earn an average of $300 per week. This article goes on to profile wrestling legends such as Louise Green, Mary Horton, and sisters Babs Wingo and Ethel Johnson, who, along with their sister Marva, were among the first African-American women to integrate pro wrestling in the 1950s. I had the honor of interviewing Ethel Johnson for the Lady Wrestler documentary. The article also spotlights legendary, or maybe infamous is the better way to describe promoter, Billy Wolfe, who was white. Here's a quick excerpt from the Jet magazine article describing Wolfe. Responsible for the integration of Negroes into lady wrestling is Billy Wolfe, a 55-year-old Columbus, Ohio manager booker who keeps an interracial string of 46 girls busy working from coast to coast. Currently, 6 of this number are Negroes. Others, aspiring to the sport, are learning the various holds in his gym. Wolfe, who books 95% of all lady wrestlers in the business, says, "My Negro girls are the hottest thing in the sport." As examples of their drawing power and ability, he points to the facts that they were welcomed in Texas and Louisville, Kentucky. They performed before a turn-away crowd. To get a copy of this Jet magazine article, which also includes vintage photos of the lady wrestlers and of Billy Wolfe, click the link in the description of this episode. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. And stay tuned for upcoming updates about the Lady Wrestler documentary. And be sure to get the whole story by streaming the Lady Wrestler documentary on Amazon Prime Video. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you soon.